Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue our working day. And now I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the information about the events in the ATO area. In Lugansk area, there was one short-term enemy shelling that happened near Novozvanivka village, Popasnyansky region. The Donetsk area, there were shellings 24 hours. Sporadically, the militants used mortars both during the day and at night. They damaged electricity supply line, and coking plant of Avdiivka works now in emergency mode. Water supply is under threat. Situation was tense in Zaitsevo. The enemy delivered 2 shellings in the evening. It used cannons of 122 mm of caliber and launched 35 shells at our positions. In the morning, enemy snipers opened fire at checkpoint of our border guards in Mayorsk. The enemy delivered fire for 15 minutes. At other parts of front line, Svetlodarsk Bulge, to the west of Gorlovka, the enemy, and Donetsk airport, the enemy violated ceasefire, but the situation is much calmer there. During the last 24 hours in the Donetsk area, there were 21 enemy shelling, including 10 with the use of heavy weapons. Mariupol area, the hottest areas were Krasnogorivka and Shirokina. There, the enemy repeatedly used heavy weapons. These are mortars, howitzers. Also, snipers were active. There was a heavy shelling near Shirokina. It lasted for 20 minutes, and they launched 30 shells at our positions. The militants also violated ceasefire in Marienka, Granitna, and Talakivka, and it happened during the second part of the day. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Mariupol area, there were 16 enemy shellings, including 6 with the use of heavy weapons. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 7 were wounded. Losses of the enemy. During the last 24 hours, 4 died and 8 were wounded. These losses were sustained by 3rd Brigade and 11th Regiment of Russian occupation forces. It was identified that among the dead are the company commander and platoon commander of the 1st Battalion, 3rd Brigade. They were responsible for the Gorlovka area. Also, 5 bodies were brought to the morgue of Donetsk Oblast Clinical Hospital named after Kalinin, and also 8 wounded militants were brought to special department for the Russian servicemen. These were the servicemen of a special unit called Volkodav that during the night from 2nd to 3rd of August were trying to slip in but failed near Krasnogorovka. They brought reinforcement from Russia, 2 railway cars with anti-tank and anti-personnel mines, ammunition, and 1 with medicines and 1 with clothes. Also, SBU detained bodyguards detained a resident of Russia who wanted to join DPR group. Previously, he wanted to join LPR, but he didn't want to be a tank operator. That's why he decided to address other military organizations, but this effort failed.
Kramatorsk police disclosed another former militant. They established that in May 2014 he was on guard at the hostile checkpoint. As he explained, the illegal military formation promised him big money, but later on the quarrel started in his family and he quitted the illegal military formation. Yesterday, near the village of Troinsk in Popasna district, the security service officers found the cache laid by the militants. The officers seized from the cache a tank machine gun Kalashnikov of 7.62 millimeter caliber and 300 cartridges to it, grenade launcher RPG-22 and 11 grenade shells. And in the village of Velika Novosilka in Donetsk region, the security service officers detected a local resident who planned to send by post 2 grenades, 2 signal rockets and gunpowder for 350 grams. The policemen also found dangerous object in the pond in Konstantinivka district in Donetsk region. They found 30 mortar shells at the bus station in Pokrovsk. The policeman seized explosive from one man who was on the bus route. The man in his rucksack had TNT blocks, 2 of them for 200 grams and 75 grams, and 2 elements for add-on dynamic protection for tank armor. The young man explained that this explosive he found in the outskirts of Avdiivka and sought to bring it to the police, but the time failed him. Canadian military sappers of the 2nd rotation completed their 7-month-long mission at the demining center in Kamenets-Podilsky. The military engineers from Canada stayed in Ukraine from January to August this year. They trained Ukrainian colleagues according to the NATO standard. Lastly, the military men exchanged souvenirs and presents, and as a token of friendly relations between Ukraine and Canada, they planted seedlings of the trees, a snowball tree and a maple. Representative of Ukrainian diaspora in Romania provided aid to injured ATO soldiers. They provided funds to the military pilots, Ukrainian pilots who were in Bucharest International Air Show in Romania. And now the questions, please. 5th channel, where Ukrainian military men were wounded, and whether there are any UXO in the ATO area observed. In one case, one person was injured by the booby trap, and also 4 persons were injured due to the hostile shelling. As concerns unmanned as concerned UXOs, there were no flights.